Hello, everyone. This is Mike History 2, and welcome to part 3 of What If the Roman Empire Never Fell? So, if you want to know what has gone on in the first millennium, just go watch the previous videos, part 1 and 2, so you can understand the context. Alright, I'm going to assume you watched it. Let's get going. So, the year is 1000. It is the dawn of a new millennium, the second millennium, although this is actually the third millennium in which Rome exists. But we start off with Denmark conquering Norway, but more importantly to this scenario, this is the beginning of the conquest of Hungary, a conquest that will last 19 years until the Roman Empire finally takes over the country and establishes a contiguous border stretching all the way from the English Channel down to the mountains of Anatolia. So unfortunately though, not all the news is good, because in 1010, as the Caliphate of Cordoba collapses, the Spanish marches are lost and Iberia basically becomes a fractured, peninsula. But not all is going wrong. Between 1021 and 1022, most of southern Italy is reconquered. In 1025, sadly, Croatia gains independence, followed by Capua in 1027, but in 1039, southern Italy is reconsolidated. Now, in 1042, Serbia also gains independence. And more importantly, in 1046, once again, those pesky Vikings are coming here to again cause trouble to the Romans, founding the state of Apulia and Calabria. Now, in 1048, the Battle of Capetron happens between the Roman Empire and another new invading group, this time being the Seljuk Turks, who have just created the Seljuk Sultanate, and this starts a war between the two countries. In 1049, the Vikings take over Versa. In 1058, they take over Capua, and in 1061, they found the state of Loritello. Now, 10 years later, Rome faces a major crushing defeat at the Battle of Manzikert, where the Roman emperor himself is captured, and this results in Rome's vassals using the opportunity to declare independence. Meanwhile, the Vikings also take over Sicily, creating the County of Sicily, as they rapidly ravage their way across the centuries-old Roman island. By 1073, the Seljuks have nearly cleared the Romans from Asia, and the Vikings have nearly cleared them from southern Italy. Things are definitely not looking good for the Holy Roman Empire. In 1075, the Seljuks have completely pushed them out of Asia, save a few outposts. And between 1081 and 1085, Apulia and Calabria feel strong enough to even invade Albania and western Greece. But the Duke dies, and the invasion comes to a screeching halt. Now in 1102, Hungary, which has reasserted its independence, conquers Croatia. 1113, Serbia collapses, but 5 years later, Rome is able to make most of their former territories become Roman vassals again. Now, things are starting to look better for the Holy Roman Empire, as between 1119 and 1120, they reconquer western Anatolia from a successor state that was once part of the Seljuk Sultanate, known as the Sultanate of Rum. 1130, the disparate Viking states of southern Italy unite to form the Kingdom of Sicily on Christmas Day. And in 1137, the southern Anatolian coast is reconquered by the Holy Roman Empire, followed by the northern Anatolian coast in 1140. 1149, Cilicia and Serbia sadly gain independence though. However, one player that was once Roman, but we have not touched on this entire series, England, comes into the scene at last. Now, England is a land that, of course, used to be Roman, but ever since the Anglo-Saxon invasions has not been. But now they will re-enter the Roman world, and in a way that the Romans would have never expected, because England in this year decides to full-on just invade Gaul. So, the war is brutal and the war is long. The English slowly advance, first landing in Normandy, then in Brittany, and then slowly advancing down the coast, until by 1166 they have conquered all of western Gaul. Meanwhile, in 1185, The uprising of Asen and Peter in Bulgaria leads to the creation of an empire for them, and things really are not looking good for the Holy Roman Empire. In 1194, Sicily becomes a Roman vassal. 1197, Bulgaria takes a large chunk of the Balkans. But in 1198, what does the Holy Roman Empire do to respond to this English invasion and to the Bulgarian Empire? Well, they decide it's a great time to have a civil war, which breaks out between Philip and Otto IV for succession. However, things are not all bad. In 1203, Rome begins its reconquest of Gaul, taking the northern half of English Gaul in 1 year. Things are looking great for the Holy Roman Empire at last. But maybe they celebrated too early. What's that I see in the distance? Oh, it's a massive fleet of English ships, and they're heading straight towards the Holy Roman Empire's capital of Constantinople. And they are angry. The English managed to breach the walls of Constantinople and completely sack the city. They show no mercy. They completely plunder it, destroy it, steal everything that they can. In fact, taking the quadricula, the famous 4 horses, and installing it in London. This is a blow that the Holy Roman Empire cannot collapse. They have just lost the city that has been their capital for almost 900 years. And so, this is the end of the Holy Roman Empire. The Saxon Empire is set up in Constantinople, but immediately is attacked by the expanding Bulgarians. Meanwhile, 3 successor states are set up: France in the west, Epirus in the southwest, and Nicaea in the southeast. Meanwhile, up north, the Livonian Brothers of the Sword are created, and they begin the Livonian Crusade. And in 1207, they create Terra Mariana, as they expand across the Baltic coast. However, even though the Holy Roman Empire is no longer one territorial unit, things are not all doom and gloom. Between 1213 and 1214, France, a successor state, invades England, taking the south. Between 1214 and 1226, Epirus conquers most of northern Greece and Albania. Also, in 1215, England's loss against the French prompts the First Barons' War, in which England's barons rebel and demand the signing of the Magna Carta. The English king's refusal prompts them to invite the heir to the French throne, and the following year he arrives in England and takes over, becoming King of England. By 1217, his rule is consolidated, and he establishes French culture and dominance over the country for good, causing the previous king's son to flee to the Saxon Empire. In an act of poetic justice, where now the Roman successors find themselves ruling over the English, and the English have to flee to the former Roman capital. Now, in 1224, after the siege of La Rochelle, peace is made with England, which only gets to keep Gascony, but this is fine by the new French rulers of England anyways. Between 1224 and 1225, the Empire of Nicaea finally kicks out the Saxon Empire from most of Asia. Meanwhile, up north in 1226, the state of the Teutonic Order is established. Between 1230 and 1236, however, Bulgaria comes back, and they conquer large parts of northern Epirus from the state of Epirus. In 1237, meanwhile, another order begins to become dominant up north, the Teutonic Order, which integrates the Livonian Order. However, another state, one much more powerful than any of the previous ones mentioned, makes its way onto the European scene. And this is a country that no one wants to mess with, because a new barbarian group has arrived. Yes, another one. Another group of steppe barbarians from the east. But these are different. These ones are bloody. These ones are brutal. And these ones are never defeated. These are the Mongols. And they have come to Europe. And although the Mongol Empire itself is not in Europe, their successor state, the Golden Horde, rapidly begins expanding. In 1241, Epirus and Nicaea realize that they cannot beat the Mongols, and so instead they join with them, allying to reconquer old land as the Mongols under the Golden Horde reach the Danube River. In 1245, Rum is made a Mongol vassal, and with Mongol help, Nicaea takes over most of the Saxon Empire's European territory, with the Saxon Empire being reduced to just Constantinople by 1253. In 1257, Nicaea conquers most of Epirus. And in 1261, Michael, the Emperor of Nicaea, becomes King of France and reunites the Holy Roman Empire, including all of Italy except Venice. And so what will happen? What is the future of this new Holy Roman Empire? A Roman Empire that is united yet again to become a major power in Europe. Well, you will have to watch part 4 to find out about that. But I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.